Today on the Justice Court, the plaintiff, Omolabi Gasso, an estate agent, is suing his principal over 250,000 naira unpaid commission.
All rise. Court in session. Honorable Judge Fumi Asaolu presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, this case is between Omolabi Gasso and Atina Yinka. That is one.
Thank you, Akin.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Mr. Gasso, Omolabi,
Yes.
and Mrs. Atina Yinka. So why are you in court?
I know the Mr. and Mrs. Atina since 2012 through one of my friends, Mr. Edwin, where they are looking for duplex to buy. He called me, he said, can I get a duplex for their friends in Festac? And I said, yes, I can do. He connected us. So we begin taking them up and down for inspection. At the end of the day, they pick one. They pay for it. Before the payment, they force a deposit, but they paid twice. So since then, their husband did not pick my phone, he did not call me again. Even the time when they pay finally, or to give him my commission, he didn't pay to me direct. He paid to the lawyer that is hold the property. And at the end of the day, they give me token money.
What's token money? How much were you giving?
They give me 300,000.
You were giving
And they bought
300,000.
a property of 52 million. So I quiet. I didn't.
Did you have an agreement as to how much you'd be
Didn't have then.
Okay, all right.
That is why I didn't even talk anything. So along the line, I'm sorry, I don't have much memory, so I jot it down. Can I be?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay.
I have what you wrote here too.
Okay.
Okay.
So after that, Mrs. Yinka, he called me. He says he has 4 shops to be managed for her. That was August 2014. And we signed a impact, Power of Anthony, to heart. That was on 1st of
No, I have a power of attorney here.
Yes.
What's the date on yours? Because the date here is
1st October
2014.
2014.
Okay.
Yeah. So to heart on our behalf, on a commission basis of 10% on every transaction. So on the 15/8/2020, I put the first tenant. The second tenant on the 10th March 2020 as well. The second tenant is the one who bought this property we are talking about. On February,
One of the tenants in the premises
yes,
bought the house.
It's shop, it's not house.
Shop, okay.
Yes. The last tenant, the second tenant is the one bought the shops. Because when you occupy it,
You don't have 1, 2, 3, one of the tenants.
yes, it's
Okay.
2 tenants.
Yes, so one out of the 2 of them.
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
On the February 22, Mrs. Yinka Atina called me, says she wanted to sell the 2 shops. Said I should confirm the going rate. I went to the market. I confirmed the current price then was 500,000. When I told her, she said, no, I can't sell my owner except if they can pay 2 million. I read the message to the tenant that the owner didn't agree 500,000. He said he started dragging. First time he said we pay 1 million. Later, he said 1.5, which I conveyed the message to Mrs. Yinka. He said, no, she don't even agree 2 million again. It's 4 million now. That if she cannot pay 4 million, he should vacate when his money expired. So I told the tenant like that. Later, the tenant asked me, how can he see the owner that I should give in a number? So I have to call Mrs. Yinka that see what the tenant talk. Says he wanted to have your number, and he gave me go ahead, and I did. Since then, I didn't hear anything again from both sides. Later, I now asked her about the outcome of the meeting with the tenant after he collected the number. She said she's begging for 2 million, but she insisted on 4 million. And eventually, she accepted 3 million after rigorous pleading. He agreed to pay half of the money, which is 2.7 million, middle of March.
That's not half of the money. That's first installment.
First installment, which he did, and balance up at April ending. She requested for my account number on 24 April 2022, Mrs. Yinka, which I did. By the time I see, she transferred only 50,000. I called immediately that why is it sorting my money? She said I didn't do anything because she sold the property herself. I told her I got the buyer and I did all the necessary thing before she got your phone number, and I did all I could to make him buy the property. Moreover, we have signed an agreement and was meant to get 300,000, not 50,000. That's what I told her. After all that, I said I should insist I didn't do anything, and that is the money I get from. That is why I now contacted this court.
Is that your position too? Is that what transpired?
I don't know what happened between him and my husband when we wanted to buy a house in Festac. So I don't know why he's bringing the issue here.
That is not before me, actually. What we have here, just address that.
I have a shop.
That is the shop.
Yes.
What you have before the court is the shop.
Yes,
You didn't put anything here pertaining to the other property. So it's only the shop we're going to address.
I contacted him to help me manage my shop, which he did. And I gave him a power of attorney to see to the shop. And we agreed, and I signed with him that he will be collecting 10% on any transaction that happens on the shop, which he has been collecting his 10% with no issue. I called him this year, January, and I would like.
You said on any transaction?
Yeah.
That happened
that's the rent. He brought the person that rented the shop, and the payment, he has been collecting 10%. The tenants normally pay the money direct to him. After removing his 10%, he will send the remaining balance to me. And I called him this year, January. I want to sell the shop because the shop wasn't generating what I expected. And I told her, I said, go there, go and find out how much they were selling shop there. Because I bought that shop in 2013, 950,000 by his shop. Then he now told me that shop is 500,000 naira they're selling. And I told him it's not possible. If I should buy a shop in 2013, 950,000 naira, and I want to sell it in 2022, I'm not expecting it to be 500,000 naira per shop. And I told him, he said that's what they're selling. That is the least. That maybe I should wait till another 2 years or another 1 year. And I told him, I can't wait. Just tell the person that is occupying the shop, I think the guy's rent will expire, was it not February ending or March? I said, give him extra 3 months. Tell him to go. I prefer the shop to be locked because he's not giving me what I'm expecting. And he said, okay. Then later on, he called me again that the guy requested for my number. I said, give it to him. Then the guy called me and told me that he would like to see me, that he want to come to my house. I said, no, you will come to my shop. You can't come to my house, which he came. When he came, Hannah told him, I'm not even selling the shop again. The shop is 2. I want to sell it for 1 million. I said, I'm not even selling the shop again for 1 million. The least I can sell that shop is 3 million. Because at the time that the guy came, the guy was pricing me for 1 million. And whereas you, that I put in charge of my shop, that you were supposed to stand for me, you are telling me that they are pricing it for 500,000. And the person that was occupying the shop came to me and told me that he will buy it for 1 million. Then I started suspecting that there's a valve play. How can you come here and tell me that it's 500? And the guy came to me and said 1 million. And I told the guy that I'm not even selling it again for 1 million. The least I can sell the shop will be for 1.5 per one. Then I will sell the 2 for 3 million. Even my husband said no, that I should sell it for 2 million.
Did you not buy the 2 for 3 million?
Yes.
So you paid 3 million naira for the 2 shops?
Yes.
So what happened thereafter?
I was the one who called him and told him that the guy agreed to pay for 3 million.
Okay.
Sure, you understand? I was the one that was feeding him those information. I was the one who called him and told him that the guy said that he will pay 1 million. Then by April ending, he will pay the remaining million. But unfortunately, the guy paid 1.3. Then he now later balanced 700,000. That's
You mean 2.3, then 700?
Yes, then 700,000. And I requested for his account, and I gave him 50,000. He said no, that his money is 300,000.
After their first transaction of purchasing a duplex went pretty well, the plaintiff Omolabi Gasso, an estate agent, was appointed by the defendant, Atinga Yinka, to manage the rental of her shops. 2 of the shops were subsequently sold, and Omolabi Gasso was paid 50,000 naira rather than the expected 10% of the sales price. Mrs. Atinga Yinka claims she made all the negotiations on the sales, and the 50,000 naira was just a freewill gift to the agent, as he was not involved in the transaction. Omolabi Gasso claims he brought the buyer and wants 10% commission of the sales price. Judge Fumi wades into this matter.
What was your basis for arriving at the 50,000?
I just want to give it to him, being that he's managing it before for me. That's
I'll explain 2 things to you. First of all, we all know, even though the 2 of you didn't agree on a percentage that will be paid as his agency fee for bringing a buyer, but everybody knows that the standard practice is that when an agent either asks for the seller or the buyer and the transaction flies, the 2 of them, they are both entitled to fee, right? But furthermore, even putting that aside, from your power of attorney that you gave him, I'll read it out to you. To assume full control and management of my properties, shops, situated at, you mentioned where, then, and to exercise right and power. Now, watch these words, exclusively, as if bona fide owner of the said property. So every right that you have over it, you've transferred. You said exclusively, as if bona fide owner. Okay, but in this case, you are even the one that told him, I'm selling. I want to sell. So he has the right, even if he has sold on your behalf, to have sold. Because it appears you think the only power you gave him is just to put in tenants and maybe give notices to tenants and to occupier of the said premises to quit or to repair. You understand? I could see everything. But you went beyond that. In the power, even, that's why I told you, even when you were talking now, you said, on any transaction that happened on the shop. You said it yourself. You know, I pointed it out to you. So if you are using that, you are saying any transaction, this particular transaction is sale. And it still falls within the statement you made in the court now. That you gave him power on any transaction. I had to jot it down and I pointed it out to you. That happened on the shop. It's still another transaction on the shops. So, and if he had introduced that buyer, and at the point when the buyer came around, which is eventually what happened, initially it was 500,000 naira, he told you. Now, whether fortunately or unfortunately, there's nothing to prove that he made up that figure or that he's trying to play smart, even though you are trying to read between the line that actually happened because the buyer eventually turned up to you. But look at it this way. If you want to be vague, it was made an offer of 500 and he was told it was turned down. He now requested to come and see you. Now, I already knew that you are not taking 500,000 naira. So coming forward to meet you could be like, let me increase it and see whether I'll be able to buy. Eventually, you did not even sell to me at 1 million, remember?
Yes.
You kept on increasing until you got your maximum, what you feel could be the benefit from it, which was 1.5 million. You were satisfied to sell at that price. Now, if you don't want to recognize his role and give him what is due to him, what you ought to have done is abandon that buyer entirely because you got him, he was the one that told him you wanted to sell. You could have called the tenant directly yourself to tell them. Do you understand what I'm saying? But he was even the one that gave you the phone number, that gave your phone number to him to call you. Is that not so?
Yeah.
And he came forward. Now, standard practice, especially in Lagos State, you discover that when you have such situation on ground, the agent will not even want to link the buyer directly with the owner. Usually it's to avoid this kind of situation. And what you could do next time, usually what you do, I know that probably because you've been dealing on other issues and you just took it that is a rollover, you are just lucky that that clause is in the power of attorney. Otherwise, as long as there is no agreement as to how much exactly you are going to obtain, there is nothing. The worst that could happen, the court might look at like this is the standard practice for the industry, maybe it's 5%, or if the court feels it's 2%, if it feels it's 1%, that's what comes your way. So, and what you have here, let me read it out. Second paragraph. To deduct from rent accruing from same all expenses incurred by him in furtherance of this power of attorney and all duties by this date conferred and a commission of 10% to be therefore deducted as remuneration. So you sold the property. You have this agreement. So the standard practice is for you to pay a percentage, you understand, to him. And the standard practice, because even you were not really emphatic. You did not even bring it up again. You've been managing the property all this while, right?
Yes.
So you assume as well that you're going to get 10% of this. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So with the way it is now, what the court is going to do is the standard practice, you should have at least 5%. And that's what I'm going to award. You've given him 50,000 naira earlier on. So you are going to give him 100,000 naira extra. That would be 5%. Do you understand me? Not 10%.
Sorry, ma. I understand you. It's because of the first transaction. Make this part of Anthony call me. The next
Now,
business.
why weren't you very specific about the sale of the property too? You were very specific about every other thing.
I think since we
assumed.
have
You assumed. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You see, in this, right? She gave you power exclusively as if you are the owner of the said property. But she is around. It's not as if you sold the property for her while she was not around. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you brought the buyer and they concluded the transaction, even at a higher figure beyond what you got.
no, sorry, ma. She asked me to confirm the going rate. She didn't ask me to sell. She asked me to confirm the going rate.
You
which I
needed to know the
confirmed.
estimate.
Yes.
And you gave her.
That's what I told her.
Exactly. Nobody is holding you because you see, even if you say it's 10 naira, if she doesn't want to sell at 10 naira, nobody can force her to sell.
Yes.
Did she ask you to go and sell at that price? Exactly. That's why I'm saying that she did not say, sell this on my behalf. You actually sold. But you linked the buyer to her.
Yes.
So the standard thing and practice is that you are an agent in that transaction because you introduce the buyer. If the total amount involved runs into billion, or you understand,
Yes.
then the percentage keeps coming
Yes.
down. But for what I see, the figure right here, the standard price is for you to have at least 5%. And that's the award. Do you have any other thing to say?
Yes.
Okay, I'm listening.
Please, I would like to clear something about the house that we bought. The house was not bought directly from him. He showed us the house, and the house was in care of another agent, which the house have a lawyer. So if my husband wants to make payment, he will make payment to the lawyer.
You know, for me,
Ah,
that transaction,
so
goes
it's
to
his
know-
agent who gave you
See,
your own share. So why are you mentioning my
transaction
husband's
goes
name?
First person that I took for his first day.
Why are you mentioning my husband's name? Were you the
What do you
agent
mean?
direct
I
to the
I mentioned your first, because
the
that is the
house?
time we.
To the house?
I know you through your husband, through a friend of
Uh-uh.
us. What?
The
No,
agent gave
hello,
you
hold
gave you
on.
your
Why you don't
own
want me
share
to-
of the
Hello.
money.
Why not?
What's that? What's your name?
Atina.
Are you listening to me? He has not done anything out of place by mentioning your husband's name. Because, as he said, he met you through your husband. I could have asked him earlier on, how did you meet the defendant?
Now, what I'm saying is that I don't know why he's bringing that issue of 300,000.
Is it what is before the court? Have I given any award on that? Is he complaining that you should pay him more money over that? He said it's a concluded transaction. Is that not what you said? It's just that he's not just meeting you. What he's trying to portray is,
Yes.
and this is not the first transaction you're having together. You've had some in the past. That's his narrative. That's his narrative. So right now, you have to pay him 100,000 naira. What did you say?
I don't have 100,000.
You don't have money to pay. You are not going to pay him at all.
I don't have money. I don't have 100,000.
But you collected have you not been paid the money for the
I've been paid, and the money has been given to my husband.
Even though the defendant issued power of attorney to the plaintiff, both parties did not reach specific agreement on the sales transaction. Judge Fumi helps both parties to meet midway in line with the standard practice. She rules after the break.
So I gave my judgment Judgment for the plaintiff for the sum of 100,000 naira. And the sum of 100,000 naira is to be paid to the plaintiff. Total sum to be paid within 14 days. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Have you been cheated or have a dispute and want justice? Don't take laws into your hands. Log on to www.thejusticecourt.com and submit your case.